my days.
Wow, I didn't
that
know
voice prangs me out. Anyway, yeah, Drake's the GOAT. That's it. End of episode. Safe.
Oh
it.
man.
Okay, so what I wanted to go project to project. So obviously his first project was Thank Me Later, and that came out 2010, so beginning of the decade. Obviously, that had songs like Fireworks, that had like the Jay-Z collab as well. But popularity-wise, I do have to say Drake has kind of ran things in the last decade. In comparison to, obviously, what the likes of J. Cole, Future, and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say something that not a lot of J. Cole fans would like, but
Okay.
J. Cole is not universally liked versus a Drake. I feel
definitely.
everyone has a Drake song they like, even if they're not the biggest Drake fan. They have one Drake song they like. Whereas a J. Cole, maybe apart from maybe a couple, I just don't really mess with him like that. Like even his latest album, apart from like the Lil Baby feature.
Are you serious? Come on, man. That's a bit harsh. I'm not gonna lie. Like me too. I'm one of the everyone that knows me knows like not that I hate J. Cole, I dislike him. I just expect so much from him. So for me, I feel like he kind of fell off. Like, what's the album? I think it was Forest Hills Drives. After Forest Hills Drives, when he did For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah.
And he did what was the other album? God damn, everything's left my mind.
KOD.
I felt like they were not good enough for the level that Cole should really be at. But I think with this album, I think J. Cole I think this album he 100% delivered. Like I think he did his thing, to be honest. I think sometimes it might need some time. I say just give it a bit of time, listen to it again. But the more I go back and listen to it, I think J. Cole really, because this album, one of the key things I think he did was that he worked with different producers. And that was something I was always like, J. Cole, you need to start featuring other artists, working with different producers. Don't just think it's all about yourself. And it's even something he said in the documentary for this, that he didn't want to be in a position where like he'll look back at his career and he didn't work with like some of the best people in the game. And I was like, that's literally it. And I think him doing that, I think he's really helped this album, like working with different people.
Yeah.
I say listen to it again. Yeah, maybe it might eventually grow on you. Sometimes it does happen like that.
Yeah, no, because I said a similar thing where like at first it's funny because Young Nudie and J. Cole dropped around the same time. So I listened to the Young Nudie project first.
Yeah.
I was kind of in the trap mood.
Yeah, sometimes.
When I listened to the J. Cole, I wasn't really feeling it. But I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to have to leave this for a bit and then go back to it. And then when I recently revisited it and I'm really feeling it, to be honest. Like I feel like with concept albums in it, you need to be in a certain mood. You can't just listen to it in any mood. I feel like that's similar to Kendrick, where you got Future, Drake, they make songs for different moods in it, but Kendrick and J. Cole, they make concept albums where you kind of have to be in a certain space to take them in.
I'm telling you now, Life of Pierre 5 will be the sound of the summer. I'm telling you.
What song?
That is going to... Yeah, Pierre Bourne's got a new project dropping on the 11th of June.
I don't listen to him like that too. I just think he makes great beats, but I don't know about his music, personally.
His music is hard. The thing is
it hard because of the beats? Like, what about his rapping? Like, is he really that good? Because I heard one or two things and I wasn't like, the beats were slapping, but I was like, I just couldn't, the lyricism for me was kind of putting me off a bit. But I haven't listened to everything. So this is just a very this is just a 1-2 song take. Maybe I listened to 1-2 songs where he wasn't really spitting.
You know what I'd say? I'd almost, this sounds mad, yeah? And I know like everyone goes on about like how great Carti is. But honestly, like I even question Carti's delivery in the same way as Pierre Bourne's. Like, vocally
for me,
on
the Carti albums, whereas Pierre is 50-50. I feel like without Carti, without Pierre, like it's not gonna be and we've seen that recently.
I honestly think it's a mix of both too with Carti and Pierre Bourne, because like, I'm not gonna lie, me too, Carti is to dismiss him, but once I listen to Die Lit like properly, I actually think that album, like regardless of like, because I don't come across like I just want lyricism and stuff like that, like regardless of what it was, that album was just bloody amazing to me. Like I thought, like Carti,
yeah.
I thought he really did his thing. Like for what it was, I really enjoyed it. But whole lot of red, whole lot of trash. That thing was not.
Oh, it's terrible.
That was terrible. I'm sorry, man.
And everyone on TikTok,
so terrible.
Everyone on TikTok's like wasting their time, like trying to convince everyone how good that album is, and it's honestly not a good album.
It wasn't good, and this is coming from someone that I really enjoyed. Die Lit. At first, I was so excited because I was thinking like the anticipation to it, like how long he had to put out music, it coming out on Christmas, stuff like that. Like at the time, that's when Clubhouse
ruined Christmas, man.
Oh, he did. That's when Clubhouse was booming, and I always do the Christmas dinner. So that night, I was literally on Clubhouse with like a group of like randomers, like we were just listening together, like each song, like bit by bit, and we just stopped it, and everyone just like, nah, this is poor. Like we didn't even finish the album.
You know, my theory of the album is he was trying to prove that he could do it without Pierre, basically, and like try and just show he's the guy, and like I think that's a lot of these artists. It's the same thing you said with J. Cole. Like, ego plays into a lot of it. Like sometimes you like it's like with anything in life, you need other people in it. Like, you can't
just do it on your ones, man. I think artists, I get it sometimes, because I'm kind of like that too with music. Like I want to kind of do everything myself, and I feel like once in a while it's good to do it, like just to kind of show off what you can do by yourself. But at the same time, you need to have a period where you have to be like, man, I need to bring in like people to help me out. It's just like, for example, like, I'll use Michael Jackson, for example. Man had to go get Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones was a legendary jazz player, etc., to bring out the best of him. That's why Michael Jackson became Michael Jackson. He didn't go around doing it by himself. And even after he left Quincy Jones, he went to go get Teddy Riley, because at that time the new Jack Swing sound was like popping. Like that was the sound when he heard Janet Jackson's album, it was like, rah, I really like this sound. I need to get on this level. And that's why you get songs like Remember the Time and etc. So even with his dancing, he had to go meet people, choreographers, people to help him. So I don't know, everything. You always need people to inspire.
He got influence from little kids from Africa then. Apparently that's where he got the influence from the mule. Like
no, I think that was actually an LA. I think it was more of an LA thing, because there's a dancer called Jeffrey Daniels, and it was part of a group. I don't know if it was Shalimar or one of these groups. It was part of a music group too, and he was he was a very good dancer. And him and there was another person that kind of showed it to him. Like it was more of a LA type thing, I think. But what I'm trying to say in summary is that you always kind of need people to help you out, like with your sound and to inspire you, like Kanye West.
Is that
perfect example.
But you know what? I caught so much heat for what I said on Twitter around Christmas, because when Whole Lot of Red came out, Kanye West was named as executive producer.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I honestly think that was the downfall of the album. Honestly.
Do you know what? I heard that.
Because not only were Kanye's last projects since Life of Pablo rushed, but I feel like everything about Whole Lot of Red just screamed poor programming.
Yeah, it was
like you cannot, like, I know that Carti had performances where like he's performing tunes that he deemed like unreleased, but like everyone had heard them like ages ago because of leaks on YouTube, and he was like, what the fuck, like, how do you know this song? Like honestly, the best strategy that Carti could have used was just releasing those leaks. Like at least give everyone the HD version, and then if you wanna, on the deluxe, put all those like weird vampire shit beats like on the deluxe, then do that. But the problem was, I think, was that, and to be honest, it pains me because like I love Kanye, and I think Kanye up to, I'd probably say Ye was like the downfall, I think, of his last few projects. I just don't think you should have got someone like Kanye. I think you should honestly have stuck to your Metro Boomins, your Pierre Bournes, and just kept the same project manager that just like put it together for you, because it worked before. The self-titled album worked amazingly. The Die Lit album grew on people. At first, people didn't fuck with it.
Yeah, I was one of those.
And then everyone just like loved it. I still play tunes from it in my sets now. Like it's the worst thing about it. But like, kind of good to go back on the topic that we're talking about. To be honest, like one of the reasons why I talk about Drake is that this is a great segue. One of the reasons why I talk about
Seguama, come on.
So one of the reasons why I talk so highly of Drake's music is because he's always kept the same circle. So like you're always going to have the same executive producer on every album, the same engineer, everything. So his projects they've become more and more mature with his career. Like his last album was actually like quite mature if you listen to it. Like obviously talking about having a kid and all of this sort of stuff, but then he's got this sort of certified lover boy project, which again is going to be like another evolution of Drake, but with the same engineer and everything. And that's what a lot of other artists are lacking right now, I think.
Yeah, I heard that still, because like with Drake, something you have to give him credit for, like you said, is how he's kept that team close knit, like throughout the years, like, and they've grown with him. That's what you can see. You can see how they've all grown together, and they fully understand Drake from Hit Boy 40. Like these people, like I don't know how he's managed to keep that circle for so long, but I have to give him credit for it, because within that time, you've seen a lot of people come and go within their groups. Like a lot of people. So,
but if you look at all the people at the top, same thing with Jay-Z, same thing with Future, all of these guys, like even J. Cole as well. Like, I feel like that's a pattern I see with people at the top. Like, they normally keep that same circle around because you know what you're gonna get from them. When you introduce new people, it can go either way. In it can go good, but then it can go bad as well. So risk, basically.
Plus, they keep you grounded. I'm sure those people are telling Drake, "This is not it." Like the same, even with Kendrick too. He has the sound wave. Who else? There's one other person mixed by Ali. He's been with
obviously
the same people for time, like the same people around him. So definitely right. This I think the top for this rap thing is actually quite interesting. Like, because for me, like a person that is getting missed out for me is Nicki Minaj, man.
I feel like I agree, because I was literally listening to
Nicki Minaj, because I know you were saying Future
today.
I know you were saying, oh, you're listening. Yeah, it's quite. That mixtape, I listened to it.
It's got some bangers. It's
still. I actually enjoyed it. I was like, you know, this still sounds good. And the extra tracks she added on, I think she done a thing on that. That mixtape is actually quite good. But Nicki Minaj deserves her flowers, man. I just want to shout her out because I feel like I know there was this whole Mount Rushmore thing.
That's where I kind of got it from. Still,
if I'm being honest, me personally, if I was to pick Mount Rushmore, this is without because I have my bias one, like my personal one. But if I'm picking a general one, I personally think it has to be Drake, Kendrick, it has to be Nicki, and then J. Cole. That's how I honestly feel. And that's by order. So Drake first, because you can't argue with what Drake has done. Even if you're not a fan of his music, his numbers, the quality of music he put out, Drake has to be number one. Personally, he's not my number one, but for the general list, I think it's Drake. Kendrick has to come in second because that's another person too with great output. Like albums from 2010
he hasn't missed.
He hasn't missed. He has not missed. Nicki Minaj too. She's sold bare. Like I think I think only Drake has maybe sold more than her on that list.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think only Drake, and then I think Cole. I'm open to switching Cole with like Future or someone else, but I think it really should be J. Cole. I really think it should be, but that's kind of how I feel.
Isn't it crazy though? Like how. So I listened to like 808s and Heartbreaks the other day, and like if you listen to like the start of Drake's career, it literally just sounds like the perfect like sequence from like 808s to like Drake's like.
Oh yeah,
you can hear the influence.
Big time.
Yeah, but like
obviously, they had that song "Find Your Lovin'" as well.
Yeah, "Find Your Love." Yeah, that was supposed to be a Kanye song for that. Actually, then gave it to Drake. Yeah.
But don't you find it mad as well? Like even when you speak about the Mount Rushmore thing, like not that I mess with him anymore, but I used to when I was growing up. But I don't feel like if you look at rappers today or rappers that we're like putting in this list over the last like 10 years, it's funny that like Eminem doesn't even come into that like bracket for me. Like as much as like he's got such a massive following and people still listen to him, there was a period of time that he was like so inspirational. Like you could almost the progression from like I don't know, you could say like Kanye inspired Drake, Lil Kim inspired Nicki Minaj, then Nicki Minaj like inspired like the likes of Cardi B. But like when it comes to Eminem, Eminem's like very much his own individual thing. I don't think that anyone's really like been inspired by Eminem. He almost sits in his own bracket.
To be honest, I do kind of hear it because nowadays I'm trying to think who the only person that comes to mind.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah,
like the only person that actually comes to mind, like people that come to mind, I know Kendrick has mentioned something about M. I'm not sure in what regards, but I wouldn't
Kendrick has said is one of his biggest influences.
Yeah, I know Kendrick has mentioned something about M being an influence on him, but you can see that with Kendrick, he rubs off. Well, I think it's a thing now where, like, it's not just going to be one person influencing people. Like, for Kendrick, it's probably a multitude of people. Like, you can tell from Tupac to Lil Wayne, because he did that mixtape, literally like a whole homage to Lil Wayne. At the time. So you can see there's a different bunch of people. Even with Tyler was one of the persons that came to my mind because of like, he kind of started off on that same trajectory. I know Tyler at the time wouldn't necessarily call his music horrorcore, but it kind of was in that same trajectory as what Eminem started with and what it was really known for, and like saying outlandish stuff and mentioning celebrities, like mentioning popular people in the game, their names, and saying crazy lines like "I'll crash that airplane with Bruno Mars" or whatever, something like that, all them crazy lines. So Tyler is someone that I kind of look at that I'm like, okay, like Eminem, there's quite a bit of an Eminem thing going on here, especially with that the dark sound he went with Bastard and Goblin. So Tyler is actually someone that makes my personal Mount Rushmore, to be honest. If my own personal list for 2010s, I think Tyler makes it.
But you know what, it's mad. I used to like dislike Tyler's music, but when he started making like the more recent albums like Flower Boy and like he changed his sound. Like I prefer that stuff in it.
The thing is that he's always Tyler is always someone from the first time I listened to him. I was always like, this guy is special. Like I knew the day will come where everyone will look at it and be like, because the thing is that he has not really changed. His music has always been kind of like this, but it's just a lot more mature. He's gotten better and he's improved on what he was good at. So he's just gotten better and he's matured. So that's why now I think people are listening to it and saying, oh, like he's not just saying dumb shit, like he's actually talking about real stuff. And he's actually gotten better, like he's improved on his craft. So so it's someone that I've always seen, that I've always thought, this guy is special. And if he can just work on it, he'll get there.
I was going to say as well, like I feel like naturally I got into Tyler because of my love for like Pharrell and Neptunes. Like the minute I heard Tyler, I was like, this is so like heavily influenced by like that whole like Virginia sound and everything. Like, but I was actually going to ask you guys, where does in terms of like, I guess, inspiration on like this generation of rappers, where does Young Thug fall in that bracket?
I was thinking of him as well.
Same.
I feel like he's a bit late because I feel like he cut through like when we were at uni, so like 2013, 2013.
Yeah, 2013, 2014. Young Thug, like I basically put an honorable mention. He's definitely on that honorable mention list. Like for that Mount Rushmore, definitely. Like he's definitely on there. Even I was putting like people like, I feel like someone like Travis. I know, but he came in late, so I don't think he can be on there. But I think Travis Scott is like a good shout for someone that kind of came in the later half or something, because he wasn't even around when we were in uni. So Travis Scott is someone too that I could understand why people might put him on there as a personal thing to say, oh, Travis Scott also had a great 2010s. And last person, I mean Kanye, of course. Like, I mean, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came out in 2010, so that's something to remember. And then
which I still say, I'm still going to say it is one of the best albums of all time.
Oh, I agree.
What anyone else says.
I agree. Me too. Like that's my favorite Kanye album, hands down. Like not even a debate. And then Yeezus 2 came out that time. And you have to remember these albums, like they like, especially with Yeezus, like it kind of inspired a lot. Like it caused a lot of controversy. But when I listen back to Yeezus now, it actually don't sound as bad. I actually think it's quite good. Like my ears are kind of like changed. At the time, I was like, what the hell is this? But now I listen back to it, I'm like, do you know what? I actually see where he was going with it. I kind of understand it better. And The Life of Pablo too, I think is a great album.
Oh yeah,
I personally
think... dope tracks.
Sorry?
No, it's got some dope tracks.
Oh yeah, I think The Life of Pablo. I think Kanye did this thing. It has some of his best recent, in terms of his best rapping as of recently. The Life of Pablo like has that, like a lot of. Of course, he had those moments where he was saying he was just saying rubbish, but in terms of some of his great rapping, yeah, that album I think was quite good. Then after that, yeah, it kind of fell off. So there's a lot of people too. Even is there a call for someone like Rick Ross?
No, there definitely is.
From the 2010s, like Teflon Don came out that period too. God Forgives I Don't. Yeah, he put out some out in the first half. It's just that he kind of fell off in the later halves of the 2010s.
I was going to say that's almost a bit like French Montana had his time as well, and then he kind of went a bit quiet. Like I kind of feel like he became a bit of a feature merchant. Like you would just only see him on features, and that was it. And it was like, where's like all your solo stuff? Then I think he released some solo stuff, and everyone was just like, I can't get into this.
That's me. That's exactly my thing with French Montana. Like listening to a whole project of his, I can't do it. But then people tell me to kind of go back and listen to like the stuff with Harry Fraud and like the mixtapes and stuff like that. It's very good.
He's got some dope mixtapes.
Who do you think though? Like not even like a top 5, but if we are to go by the current climate in hip hop, who do you think is going to be like the next 5 that we will talk about in 10 years' time?
I think Lil Baby has to be there. I think Lil Baby right now. Yeah, I think Lil Baby, and that was someone that I did not honestly. I would not thought I would have said this back then. Like first listening to him, I was like, he's good, but I think he's someone else that also improved. I think he really
his work ethic's crazy.
Yeah, he really improved on what he was doing. So Lil Baby's there, but then to think of the other 4, who I say top 5 is, I think it's quite. I think you got to put Young Thug as well. Okay, yeah. Do you know? Yeah, we can still add Young Thug in there. Definitely, yeah. We was doing, and also with the label stuff that he's currently doing right now, I was still putting Young Thug in there. It's crazy because I still see Drake going again. You know,
Drake. I
still see Drake going.
No, I still think. So I think it's definitely going to be Travis. I think Travis is going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I heard that.
In terms of like Travis's music and fashion influence is crazy. Like,
oh, bro, this guy did a collab with McDonald's, and anything he touches is just goes crazy. The Jordans, like, he's kind of like he's taking that Kanye blueprint to a degree where it's like he's just doing these deals, and anything he touches is just. And I love it. You got and the thing is that they're quite innovative too. Like, yeah, I definitely say Travis still has a lot to offer. He definitely has a lot, but I'm trying to think who is kind of new in the game. I see a lot of kids.
I think Lil Durk, he kind of went missing for a bit, but even him and Lil Baby actually released a collaborative project recently. I feel like Lil Durk has kind of put himself back because obviously he had a collaboration with Drake in 2020. He's done stuff with like the likes of Coil Ray, so he's kind of put himself back in the conversation for like those top artists, basically.
I mean, I don't listen to his music, but NBA YoungBoy seems to be someone that
he's streamed
that
crazy.
the youth really like gravitate to and they love. So I don't really listen to him, but yeah.
And Lil Durk as well.
Oh yeah, Lil Durk is like he's definitely 30. Like he's definitely 30. I think Lil Durk, he just had so many issues out of music, so that's kind of hindered him a bit. But I think now that where he is right now, I feel like he can get to a period where he can really just shine and do his thing because Lil Durk has been around for time. He's been around. When you think about it, he's had an amazing music career to still be this relevant, even hotter right now than he was. Like, you have to give him his flowers. You definitely have to give him his flowers. But for me, I'm going to throw in a curve ball here because this is my man. Like I know who's going to do it for me for the next 10 years. I think. Like Freddie Gibbs, man. I don't care how old he is or what people say.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Gibbs for me, like this is more on not on a mainstream thing, but I think for more of an underground, more thing. Yeah, Freddie Gibbs for me right now, and I think like he's gearing up to have a great. That's someone potentially that even I could say for the 2010s that on a underground scene thing, I think he destroyed it.
That Pinata project was dope, and then
Man,
he had a joint project
with
with
the Freddie
Currency
project
as well.
Man, I think he's killed it. So,
bro, Alchemist is still going to be making like 5 albums a
exactly. Like
I think he's making something with Currency at the moment.
Yeah, him and Currency they have a great relationship. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a secret old Sweatshirt Alchemist album that was released, and it's apparently it was put on YouTube under a different name, and everyone's still trying to find it.
Are you
it's
serious?
so weird.
Wow. But that's the thing. This is not why I feel like there's this whole thing nowadays of like artists and musicians like hiding music. Like it's just strange. Like no one to put out music, hiding it, being very strange about it. It's like even with Kendrick, I have to put TDE in that camp. Like what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
Nobody, Absol's not putting out nothing. Schoolboy Q's not putting out nothing. Even Scissor.
Oh yeah,
like, what's going
Q,
on?
Yeah.
Like, what's this new trend of like, oh, like we have all this? It's like I'm gonna blame Dr. Dre for it. He started it with all this detox album thing that he's been talking about, and then from then on,
for years,
we just kind of seen it like people just being strange, like, oh, I don't want to put this out. It's just like, come on, man. It's just a bit strange.
I remember how upset I was when like obviously detox was like a big thing when I was growing up because like how much I listened to like Eminem and stuff and like the 2001 album as well.
Yeah.
By Dre, but when that Straight Outta Compton like album came out, I was just like, man, like just give us fucking detox. Like I've heard so many leaks over the years.
But you know what I think?
Great.
If I'm Dr. Dre, because apparently he's been working with like so many different artists. Let's say this album is a legit thing. He's been working with so many different artists at like their prime. So for example, like you get Eminem at his prime, so working on that album, Lil Wayne, so many different artists, Kanye. If I'm him, do you know what I'll do? I'll actually not release it till I die. I'll let it be something for my family. Like when I die, I'll write it down like, this is something I want you to release and put out there so that my family can reap the benefits of it. I think that's something he should do, personally. That's what I would do. I think it'll work. So like rest in peace DMX. Like I don't know if any of you have listened to the Exodus album, but I actually think like I think he's done his thing on that.
Good things about it.
Yeah, I think the album is really personal. Good. Very good. Yeah, very personal, very good. Worked with like, and another thing I liked about is that you could tell that he was keeping his ears out to a degree. Like he has a song with Moneybagg Yo. Who would have guessed that? Like
that's another one of my guys, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's in the next generation. Like, I've been listening to him for a while, and I feel like he's talks that talk. He's got the lingo. Like, even Pharrell was saying like he's one of his favorite rappers. Like, I feel like that whole Memphis scene.
With
him,
Duke Deuce
and Yo Gotti, Young Dolph. There's buried them.
Did you hear the Lil Yachty Memphis like mixtape?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I bloody enjoyed that.
So good.
I enjoyed it. People were kind of shitting on it, but I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed. I was actually quite shocked. There was a period where I was just bumping that project. Like, I don't listen to his albums whatsoever, but the reason why I listened to that one was because of that Memphis, because of what's it called again? Memphis Boy, or I don't even know what it's called, but just because of that Memphis. Is it just because of that influence or the Detroit influence? Yeah. On that album, Michigan Boy. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Michigan Boy. Sorry, I was thinking, something wasn't right. But when I listened to that project, I was like, wow, because I really like that style of rapping to a degree. I think it's weird, but I just love it. I can't put a finger on it, but I just enjoy, and I feel like he done his thing on that. Of course, there were a couple songs that were a bit like, but I feel like generally, that was a good project by him.
I don't know why it's weird, like word association, but I just thought of like the rappers that have like had like one hit and kind of disappeared. What happened to like Block Boy JB and like all of these like artists? Like it's mad, isn't it? And also who's the guy that had like one eye that like had
why did his name just come on uni? He was in uni. Yeah, baby. 1738.
Oh,
what's his name?
What's his name?
Oh my god!
I can't see this is bad.
But that's it. How did his name leave my mind? I was like, what? I was like,
he disappeared,
he
man.
Smashes as well,
on the ground.
And it's just like he's gone. Like we don't even know. Like I don't know if that's just like an industry problem or what, but
I feel like that's what separates like the better artists from just the average artist. Like the better artists, they know how to adapt, or it's one or two things. They either know how to adapt, or they just someone like a Currency who's more underground. He keeps doing the same thing, but he feeds his fan base, innit?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Really
Yeah,
and truly, it's about feeding. It's about feeding your fan base, I think. And I feel like if you can do that, it don't matter if the other people are not really listening to you. As long as your fan base
yeah,
satisfied with what you do, then you're fine. It's kind of like Ryan Leslie. That's when I remember watching an interview with him talking about how like this is me kind of getting the story modeled up, but you'll think Ryan Leslie hasn't been around doing music, because you don't really hear nothing out there on a mainstream level,
yeah,
but he has. He's just basically been more focused on his fan base and the people that actually purchase his music. So I think he's independent, and he was just doing this weird thing where they had his number and he would like message them music or something like that, and he was just getting his money, everything directly to him. So for him, it made sense sticking to that pattern than for him having a label, then taking like 50% of the of the profits and stuff like that. It just made more sense for him to stick to the people that actually buy his music. And he has a good, he's still doing his thing right now, just by doing that. But you wouldn't know because we're not Ryan Leslie fans.
yeah. But that's what a lot of these artists have caught. There's the direct to the people like relationship where you you kind of don't need a label in this day and age. You can kind of just set up your own team, and as long as you've got that cult following, you can eat. To be honest, there's no need
Yeah,
to like.
definitely. But at the same time, I see a lot of people doing this rhetoric of, oh, you should just go independent. You should just do this. At the same time, there are cases where you do need a label. Like
Yeah,
if you want
no,
to be a
no.
Drake, you can't do that independently.
Yeah,
You really cannot do what Drake is doing independent. You need a label pushing you, because sometimes being independent is difficult. You have to book your own studio time, all of this. If you have a label, they sort all of that out for you. The marketing, the promo. You sometimes your focus might just want to be, oh, I just want to go in there and actually create music. Like I don't want to have to deal with this, deal with that, deal with a videographer. You just want to be able to say, I want this, and the label gets it done for you. So sometimes I know there's this whole thing of, oh, just be independent, but and people try to shit on labels, but labels are actually quite beneficial too. You just need to look at your situation
yeah,
and see what works best for you as an artist. So
Yeah,
there are people that I would
100%.
recommend in their situation. I'll be like, go get signed. It's not a problem. Like it's actually not a problem, but it's a matter of what you sign. That's where it kind of comes. You just have to be careful of what you sign. But really and truly, it's not bad to be part of a label, I think.
Can I ask you guys a random question?
Yeah.
Picture the scene, right? 30 years' time,
Ooh.
you're sat down with your grandkids or whatever, and one of them asks you, show us some music that you grew up listening to. What's the first album or first song that you put on?
Kanye is
Represent
definitely
your
getting
music
played.
taste.
it's mad. I said I was gonna say Kanye as well.
Kanye
I'm
is
probably gonna
definitely
put
getting
on
played.
808 and Heartbreaks. To be honest,
Oh, that's interesting.
that was my album. Like I can't lie. Like I felt like that came out at a time where, you know, when you're a teenager and like it's like it's not you, it's not other people putting them onto music, and it's you that's like searching out the music and finding it.
LimeWire.
Yeah,
That's what.
exactly. That illegal things, innit? I felt like that was one of the first albums I took in and I just let it play. And
Yeah, I heard that still. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll definitely go Kanye. On the rap thing, it will be like Kanye, Kendrick, Drake. Then I was actually thinking another person I put on too on my kids is Chris Brown. Like I think Chris Brown, man, you have to give him his respect. Like this
Yeah,
guy has smash hits. Like this, like people sometimes, because when I speak about music, people think I hate pop music. I love pop music so much when it's done very well. It's just that a lot of pop music I think are just not. They're just like microwave. They're not like done properly. And Chris Brown has like pop smash hits. So man, I think that music is just timeless. Like there's some Chris Brown songs you're gonna play is never gonna get old. It's never like imagine your excuse me, miss. You can never get tired of that song. That song is just that amazing. So yeah, so that's like another person that came to mind. I was like, yeah, I'll definitely put my kids on that.
you know what? There's two songs that come to mind. I feel like if I was to play them, and I feel like first of all would be Drake, "Best I Ever Had." So I just think that that's just like a crazy song. And I think either I would go with I'd probably either go with like Kanye Heard 'Em Say or Through the Wire, because when I first heard Through the Wire, I was a kid and I just came back from living in Spain. And we were in the taxi from the airport to like London, where I just literally just moved to London. And I heard that song for the first time. And I was like, this is like amazing. This just sounds incredible.
Yeah.
So I feel like you would have to play like that as like a gateway to like what Denzel was saying, like 808s. And then you sort of work your way through. Then you go on to like Drake Take Care and play like Marvin's Room and like all of these tunes as well. Like
so on that topic, I kind of wanted to ask that in terms of Drake albums, obviously there's Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same, Views, Scorpion, and then upcoming, not out yet, Certified Lover Boy. But do you think any of his current albums are like worthy of the title of being classics? Yeah.
See, this is why on my personal list. That's a great question, Denzel. I think on my personal list, this is why Drake kind of drops. That's why if I was to really rank it, I think Kendrick is number one. Because Kendrick is number one because yes, he might not have the smash hit singles that Drake does, but when you look at an album, like a piece of work from beginning to the end, Kendrick has just outdone it, man. He's just outdone it. And so in terms of classics, to answer your question, personally, I think he only has two out of all of that. And I think it's Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. I'm not gonna count Thank Me Later. I'm not gonna count.
I agree. You know, I can't even lie.
Thank Me Later it's a decent album, but even for Drake standards, isn't actually not that good.
Yeah, I feel like he got into his bag and Take Care.
Yeah, Take Care was really where he got into his bag, and then Nothing Was the Same. I think that period, that 2011, 2013 period, was peak Drake.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that sounded wrong. Like he's still peak Drake, but I think they're project-wise. I think he didn't miss. Everything else, they're good, they're great, they're all right, but I don't think
it's got more of the pop smashes on there, to be honest, more than a whole album.
Drake is a singles guy. He's a singles guy. He's always gonna have the charts and smash. But compared to Kendrick, who in 2010 was releasing Overly Dedicated, and then he released Good Kid, Mad City in around 2012, then he released To Pimp a Butterfly in 2015. Then Damn in 2017.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man. Come on.
No, so Kendrick's got 4 albums, and for me, he hasn't missed on any of them.
Come on.
Like
I didn't even mention Section 80. I haven't missed that.
Section 80.
I missed Section 80.
That's probably one of.
I missed that.
Probably that album's dope.
That's already how many, in my opinion, that's already how many classics, like literally in a row like that. For me, Kendrick, that's why Kendrick takes the number one spot.
I was gonna say like Section 80 and Damn I probably replay quite a lot. And then I know it's not all Kendrick, but the Black Panther soundtrack as well is like absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Like I listen to that album and I literally get goosebumps. Like you think about how good the film was, and you listen to that album from start to end, and you're like, oh my God, this is like a perfect album. The only thing I find with Kendrick though, and you are right, like Drake is very much a singles
right there,
artist.
right there.
Well, it's amazing.
Right there. So this album was I had to get on vinyl. So good.
But with Drake, I do think that maybe it's because like the volume of albums he's put out, so maybe it's like clouded my vision of like the quality of the albums.
The volume of music just in general he's put out.
Yeah, the volume of music. I'll give Drake that. I'll give Drake that he's put out way more music. Whenever we're talking about Drake, What a Time to Be Alive, like even stuff like that, like even the little Lucy projects, like Little Mix, like Drake has put out so much music. So of course, if we're to go by that rhetoric, then it means that there's more of a chance that Drake will have more duds because he's put out way more music, if that makes sense. So I will give Drake that in his armor, but I just feel like this is kind of where the argument of quality over quantity comes in.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
What about J. Cole? Are we saying he's got? Okay,
Nah.
I'll say you're saying no. I'll say for me, he's got. For me,
I think
there's
he has
3
one.
albums for me. I can't even lie.
Oh,
personally,
3 albums.
I like Born Sinner. I like 2014 For Still Jazz. Me personally, I really like For Your Eyes Only, but
okay.
I could see how that one was a bit polarizing, but for me, I thought it was good.
Cole one is a difficult one because me personally, I would say he has 2. That's between Born Sinner, that's Born Sinner and Forest Hills Drives. But I know there's a lot of, weirdly enough, there's a bit of a thing about Born Sinner not really being like, there's still a bit of a, so if I was going to the general audience, I would say Cole has one, which is 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I don't think anyone ever debates. I mean, this guy went, what's the thing Cole fans always say about that album? Platinum with no features and no, like, that album, I think that definitely has to be in there for Cole, that one,
And then obviously had Off Season recently, which
that's a bit. We'll give it a bit of time to marinate first. Even Alma don't like it, so we have to give that time.
I'd rather listen to Logic.
Oh, Logic.
What are we saying about Future? Future, he's put out a lot of music over the last a lot.
And he's had a whole lot of kids.
When did Dirty Sprite 2 come out?
I feel like that came out like 2011.
Yeah, that was so. Yeah, I'll give him that. I think he has 1 too. I will give him that. Future's another person, kind of like Drake. Like when I listen to Future, I'm like, I don't really. He has. But
you know albums. What a time to be alive is. It's teetering on a classic. It's got. I feel like 75% of it's good.
No, you know what?
Think so.
I'm going to say something controversial. Yeah, I think that album was a flop. Apart from Jumpman, I honestly think that whole album was a flop.
I feel like you gotta listen to it now, though. Like I feel like sometimes when you listen to it in time, you get caught in the hype. But if you listen to the actual music, I feel like most of it is good. But it didn't live up to the hype. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it didn't last as long as I would have expected it to last.
It's not Watch the Throne, definitely not.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, I thought it would have done better, but I'll definitely give Future 1. I'll give him Dirty Sprite 2. I'll give him Dirty Sprite 2 as his classic. I think that one. Yeah, Future is another guy. He's mainly a singles guy. He has good projects. It's kind of similar to Drake to a degree, but Dirty Sprite 2 is when I think Future really. That was what sold it for me. That was like, okay, this guy is not just anyone. He's actually quite good.
2015 was his year. I think he released like 4 projects. So he had Dirty Sprite 2, he had Beast Mode, he had Monster, 56 Nights.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was Time to Be Alive. So 5 projects in a year.
2015, that's around uni. Yeah, around uni time. That's true. Future was really up there. Yeah.
But then he's a bit more 50-50, I feel like, because he makes more party music. So people don't like, if you're just in a mood to chill, you're not. Future has got some.
Or if you want something where just a bit more
substance,
like substance, it's not really the necessary go-to. But that's why Drake is great. Drake just gives you the balance of it. Like he knows how to give you the stuff where it's like, okay, it's time to turn up, and then he can give you the stuff where there's substance. It's just a perfect. He merges it right. That's why I understand why people might not even really like Kendrick, because Kendrick sometimes can be too much on the substance side, like giving you substance, giving you messages. And sometimes you don't want someone preaching to you. But with Drake, you can just go anywhere you want with him. Drake has that balance down to a T.
Yeah, another low-key, one of my favorite Drake projects is If You're Reading This Is Too Late, innit? I feel like that's one that flies under the radar, but obviously that came out whilst we were in uni as well, and that just, I feel like when something is your soundtrack to your life, that's when you put it up there, innit?
I agree. Basically. I agree.
Like you remember it in a moment in time, innit?
You see what you said about soundtrack to your life? More Life. I'm not gonna lie. How do you think? I know Americans. I know the Americans kind of didn't like it, but I'm not gonna lie. Still, I think Drake done his thing on that project, man. Like the singles that came out of that, and then having gigs on 2 songs, and then Passion Fruit, and then man, More Life, Blem,
Georgia Smith.
even the Skepta interlude.
Skepta, he had Sampha on there.
I think for me, I think Drake really even the Kanye song on there, the Glow song.
Yeah, he had Young Thug on there.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated Drake project.
And that project came out the first time I went to Dam as well. So like,
is it?
The whole obviously
Man,
he had his own
life. Is Controller on there?
Now Controller's on
what's that one?
Views, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true. That's Views. Yeah. That's
what Views. I will
this
say
like
Galchester.
Galchester,
yeah, as well, yeah. What I will say about Drake's albums is that I don't think in any of his albums there's a single song that I would skip. Like I could actually listen to his music from end to end.
He has some bad ones for me. Some terrible.
I don't know, because even when he released that, didn't he put out like a project in lockdown, which was like all of his like unreleased?
Yeah,
Dark Lane demo tapes.
Yeah, that was like
some bangers in there, to be fair.
Really good.
Obviously, the Playboy Carti, his feature was a bit lethal,
so that was when he became a vampire.
Yeah.
Man became a fetus on that one. I was like, what go on? Like, are you speaking English? Like, what's going on? But yeah, each to their own, innit?
Yeah. Do you know, I have a question actually, because I know we're talking about this Mount Rushmore thing. What about a UK? What's like your UK Rushmore for the 2010s Mount Rushmore?
For me, straight. I always say Skepta's my number one, like by far. I just feel like I was even listening to him today, and I realized what it is like. It's that a lot of artists don't do this, but everything he does, it seems like he puts 100% into it, and I feel like that's where a lot of artists thought that even if you're putting 75%, it's not really good enough. Like you need to be putting your all into everything you do, and I feel like with Skepta, it's like music, you just feel it in it. It's not what you're hearing. It's just a feeling that you feel. Nah, this guy, he wants it, basically. Skepta would be my number one still. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if you're gonna do a Mount Rushmore for the UK for the 2010s, yeah, you definitely you're listed wrong if you did not have Skepta. He takes number one spot with projects. Influence on the culture, everything, even man's collaborating Nike, like bro, he's just in his bag, like he's just in his bag. So yeah, Skepta definitely for me is number one. I feel like, do you know what I feel like? Because I'm trying to think 2010s.
I was gonna say
I feel like JME.
Oh, JME, definitely.
I feel like
JME came before Skeps.
Mm-hmm.
Skepta actually started rapping after JME, innit? So
yeah. I feel like JME, because I was kind of looking at what JME kind of put out. And I was like, do you know what? Because I actually really enjoyed Integrity. I'm not going to lie, I have not still listened to Grime MC, which is poor for me. So I do not know how great that did. But
I played that on the DJ mixer. I had to play it, fam. CD only, innit?
Yeah, CD. But I think, is it not now? Can I not stream it now? I think I can definitely see it on YouTube or something. I'm sure someone would have put it somewhere. So I'm sure it can be available for streaming. But
no, it's got some bangers on it.
But then what about Stormzy? Do you think he makes the cut, or is he like more? I think Stormzy's an interesting one. I think he's an interesting one because I understand why people say maybe it's not now.
He started in this decade, but I feel like he didn't cut through till 2014, 2015.
Yeah,
I feel like he's a bit.
So he's a bit like a half
more.
And half.
You know, he's more. I feel like Chip. He's more because he obviously started 2007. Sorry, but he didn't really cut through till like the 2010s. I'll say.
Yeah, I agree.
He's still going as well.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna. So if I was gonna pick my Mount Rushmore, I think it would be Skepta, JME, Dizzy. I'd still put Wiley in there. I don't care. Like,
you see, like Dizzy. So you see, like Dizzy and Wiley. I feel like they are before that. I feel like Dizzy, especially, he comes before. I feel like Wiley still went strong, but I feel like with Dizzy Rascal, I feel like he's still a bit like not for the 2010s, because from 2010 to 2020, what did Dizzy really do?
Yeah, I feel like he
really and truly, what did he really do?
He did go really, really pop, didn't he? Like with like how he, like I think what he released with like Baseline Junkie and like all of that basically, and like all the Calvin Harris stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why I put Wiley in there is because like if you look at like 100% publishing, Snakes and Ladders, like all those albums, they still have like replay value. Like I still feel like they are very relevant to like the kind of music that we'd expect from Skepta if we were expecting like a very like UK sound.
No, I'd put in Wiley, but I'd probably sort Dizzy. I'd probably put Dizzy in the last decade, and I'll probably.
But you know someone that just came to mind right now, Kano.
Kano, yeah.
Do you think he makes it, or do you think he just?
I'm not a big Kano fan. I can't lie.
Fair.
Yeah, I feel like Jide's made a good point about Kano. Like, you either love him or hate him, like with his flow and everything.
Yeah.
I love him.
Like, I don't know.
So wait, so far we definitely have. I can see we've all agreed on Skepta and JME. I think Wiley. I think I'm agreeing with that too.
Yeah.
With Wiley, because I think he did transcend
things,
very well. Yeah, I think he's still.
And he's still got that.
Even though I didn't listen to him that much,
yeah,
I do recall hearing stuff from Wiley, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is very good. Like, and I know he was still around. For he put out quite a lot of projects within that 2010. He also went a bit pop too. Yeah, and his pop things actually done quite well, weirdly enough. Like,
he had the wearing my no, that was Skepta, but he had the what's the video with the foxes in it again? I'm trying to remember.
I'm not sure which one this is.
I can't remember. Yeah,
on the song, but yeah, no.
Wait, but where in my Rolex is Wiley, isn't it?
No, that's Skepta.
I need to double check this. You know.
Yeah, let's research this.
Yeah, just to make sure.
No, it is Wiley. It is Wiley.
Oh yeah, that's probably the tune. Yeah.
But yeah, there's one song that even to this day I still hear. I don't know what it's called. I just know it when I hear it. I'm like, right.
There's the one with Emily Sandé as well. That's a low key banger. He's got a song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still never be a woman.
Then you did mention Gets, innit? You did say Gets.
Yeah, no. For me, Gets definitely. For me, Gets. He's probably pushing it past Jeremy like just before Skepta. For me personally. Because I feel like
I can hear that
through the whole last 15 years. Even though he's missed a couple of years, he's been very consistent. He's kind of.
Well, I think we have a list though. I think if we go Skepta, Jeremy, Wiley, Gets, that seems about. I think that seems about right.
The only person people will say Rets, but for me, he's kind of like Kendrick, where he's a bit polarizing. People either hate him or love him. I feel like so.
Rich still has one of the best freestyles of all time. Though.
Oh yeah, now Rich is for me lyrically he's the best in the UK. But making music, I don't really rate him personally in that way. But
just because I think I'm with Denzel on that. I'm with Denzel with that. When it comes to like his actual music, I will not say it's not bad, but it's not like the level that maybe you would put compared to like a Skepta, a Gets, a Jeremy, Wiley, like, and I think for me that'll push it out. That he won't make that Mount Rushmore if I was to do one, personally.
Yeah. No, that was dope. That.
Yeah, definitely.
I enjoy that still. So no, obviously to wrap up, I always like to do the one thing that you think people should check out, whether it's to watch, whether it's to listen to, whether it's to read. But I'll start off this week. But one thing, it's kind of old, but it's Last Chance U, basically. And it's like, it's on Netflix. They got the basketball version and they got the American football version. But the reason I think it's good is just because I feel like whatever job, whatever profession, whatever career, everyone's pushing it, trying to cut through in it. And I feel like in that series, it shows you it's what it says on the tin. It's their last chance, innit? So it shows you people putting their all into something to either bust or make it, innit? And I feel like it's just super relatable. And I always, like, one thing I always say about sports is that it's a metaphor for life, innit? It's like you got your ups, you got your downs, you got your wins, you got your losses. And I feel like it's a universal thing. That's why everyone loves football. Everyone can take something from it.
Mm.
So yeah, no, for me, that would be my thing for the week.
I always forget this segment goes on. I'm never prepared, but I'm trying to think. Well, one of the things that came to my mind has been about a year since George Floyd died. So just something, of course, to like. This is more something that we just need to keep in mind, to remember that, like, with the 1 year anniversary of his death, like, we need to keep in mind that these issues are still ongoing and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So we should not, because when stuff like this happens, we tend to forget and we tend to stop applying the pressure that's needed for there to be change. So it's just something that we need to remember, that, yeah, we need to still keep on applying the pressure and doing what we can to make sure that we can get change, because we're police brutality and just as Black people. So that's something that I just want to put out there. And for me, I'll say, well, in terms of watching something, well, Invincible, man, like that's been like the talk of like for me recently. It's just been on Amazon Prime. I just think it's just a quality show. So if you're looking for something great to watch, you like animation, even if you don't really like animation, just as a general show to watch, like I think Invincible is just quality. Like the first season just finished, so yeah, I'll recommend that as something like to watch.
One thing I'll quickly say on the George Floyd thing, I watched a very good documentary today on the WNBA, and it's called 144, because that's how many players are in the league. And what I like about them, they, even more than the NBA, they really took a stand for the police brutality that was going on. So obviously with Breonna Taylor, they all wore her name on the back of their tees. And then obviously there was the shooting in Milwaukee, where Milwaukee, the Bucks actually pulled out, and then the whole of the WNBA didn't play that day. So I just feel like, in terms of sport, what I like about that organization, they really took a stand. So yeah, as well, if you're looking for something on the topic of like, fighting against police brutality, that's definitely one, I'd say.
Yeah, sick. I always end up picking something like quite general, like every time, but I took like a 3-week break from making music, and I basically, I've been spending the last week basically just finishing off another edits tape. So that's coming, and then in terms of other stuff, I've just been re-listening to, like, I don't know why, but I went through this rabbit hole of like rediscovering music I was listening to in like 2008 and 2009. So like before I even went to uni or anything. And honestly, like I've just had a lot of fun just making playlists. Like Denzel, you've been doing that as well.
Yeah.
Like I just really like the idea of just like putting like collections of music together, and even like when you're driving or something, just having it playing in the background. So again, like I feel like music has just been my way of just like winding down this past week.
I don't know why, but when you said those dates, just Kanye West, American Boy, just came
that song, man, is so everlasting. I was in the park the other day, and that song came on. Man, I don't know, the energy from that song. There's something in that song. I think they sprinkled some audio crack into that song, because that thing, when those first synths come in and you just recognize it, it's just a feeling I get from that song.
Yeah.
All I think about is summer, sun. And
it kind of perfectly connects the UK and America, and it's obviously Estelle, Kanye West, UK, America. So that's
actually before we go, can I ask, just I think a nice segment, what is everyone listening? Because I know you gave me recommendations like Young Nudie. So what is like everyone listening to at the moment? What would you recommend to put on to people to listen music?
I've been listening to this relatively new artist called Sofago. He's like, I think he's signed to Internet Money, but I think he's just been recently picked up by like Cactus Jack, and he's another like singer slash rapper, but he's just insanely talented, and he's only like 18. But yeah, just like amazing. Like everyone should like check out his project.
Yeah.
Okay. One artist I'd say, Marco's spoken about her as well, but Green Tea Pen. She's like
I've heard.
neo-soul jazz singer. She put out a project today called Man Made, and like it's dope. To be fair, like I feel like if you're kind of looking for that Erykah Badu energy in the UK, I'd say that's the most comparable artist that we have. But yeah, I'd say for me, she's got a bright future, and like yeah, she's in her bag at the moment.
Yeah, that's dope. For me, I've been listening to this rapper called Kenny Mason. I'm not really sure exactly where he's from, but he's also quite young too. I think he's about 18, 19. And yeah, I've been quite impressed with like his music stuff. He has a project called Angelic Hoodrat. So yeah, so I'll definitely recommend that as something to listen to, because yeah, I think he's quite dope and interesting, and he's one for the future that I would really love to see where he goes from his career. So yeah, so that's someone that I'm definitely listening to. And then of course, as usual, shout out Griselda, man. They don't miss. Macomi, man. Macomi, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pray for Haiti. Yeah, for me, one amazing project. So I've just been listening to that. And yeah, that's literally my recommendations, I'll say.
Speaking of 2008, 2009, I'm gonna bring. Wait, let's
the was it stronger, right?
Yeah.
These shades were
I'm bringing these back.
I think I had them as well. I can't even lie.
I won't be surprised. I never had these, but it was always, I had like the fake Ray-Bans though, because that was around the Jay-Z R time, Blueprint 3 time. Yeah, because that's actually one of my favorite. I know people don't really speak about Jay-Z Blueprint 3, but I think
album's dope,
for me, I think that album is phenomenal. I think,
and people forget that's the album that introduced J. Cole as well.
Yes, J. Cole on Star Is Born. Yep, exactly. So for me, that album is special to me. But yeah, them shades.
I'm bringing these back. The VCG.
Yeah, reminds me of my my secondary school in Nigeria days. Definitely.
Total 90s.